Let's see. Some people are asking about the results of IT2. We have, at this point in time, we have made a snapshot basically of the performance and everything else of the nodes that was running all weekends. Huge thank you to Andrew, actually, from zValid for helping us debug something that we found on his node but weren't able to replicate locally. So thank you very much. You did help us identify a bug that we will be.
That was really helpful, and that was a really interesting edge cases. So yeah, thank you so much for providing logs and providing the helps all we need. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, so we will be hotfixing during IT2, which is great. We definitely want to see operators operate, and this is a solid operator operation. But the selection process, so you have more or less until 11-ish, until the conclusion of this meeting, 11 PST, noon PST to finish KYC, but node performance has already been locked. And then we will be doing the actual selection. You will be getting emails hopefully by 5 p.m. PST of whether or not you've been selected, along with, if you haven't selected, further instructions on how to switch your node over from your individual valid network in test mode to join the IT2 network. And as part of that, this time is a little different because we're not baking everyone into Genesis. We are slowly adding people because that's one of the major features we want to test. And so we, over the next 48 hours, we'll be sending out emails. When you get the second email, is when you'll have further instructions on how to actually join when it's your time to join. We want to make sure that we have multiple people kind of joining at every epoch instead of all 200 people that we're going to select joining in the first epoch. But yeah, we will be trying to stagger those emails based by your time zone that you registered with. And so unless you're using a VPS, hopefully you'll be awake when we get the email. And if you were using a VPS, well, you have 48 hours, so good luck. Let's see the other questions. Project timelines. We are launching in Q3, our mainnet. We have Incentivized Testnet 2, Incentivized Testnet 3 is going to happen before mainnet launch. We will be releasing a paper on tokenomics and a white paper and all that fun stuff. I know that those are being worked on now, but those will be released before the mainnet launch. We will be kind of testing, load testing nodes throughout AT2, specifically trying to understand how things function with latencies, how, outside of a good kind of test infrastructure, multi-region that we set up, what really it looks like globally, running on multiple nodes, across multiple hosts, across multiple VBS. A lot of good information came out of IT1 that we've used to develop things like the node health checker, to be able to provide better feedback, to help guide people to better hosting providers. And excited to see the data that we get from IT2 as well. How does Aptos accounts compare to the Ethereum account model? Great question. So in Ethereum, basically, nothing is really stored in your own account. So in Ethereum, you have contract accounts, and then you have your own wallet account. Hopefully those are separate. But the contract account, if we look at what an NFT looks like, for example, a contract account will have a map, generally of the address to the actual ID of the NFT that it owns. And so everything, all the data is centralized and concentrated in the Ethereum contract account. On Aptos, it's a little different. So in Aptos, what we have is ownership of actual resources. So the resource, in this case an NFT, becomes a first-class citizen. And so when you buy an NFT or someone sends you one, it's literally getting transferred to your account. And you can think of them on chain almost like as like a little blob of JSON with some magic cryptography to verify its history and all that kind of fun stuff. And so not anyone can mint them, only the contract is allowed to mint the resources declared. So a FundMax NFT contract is the only one that's allowed to make FundMax NFTs. And so if you buy one from the contract, it gets moved into your account and you own it. So no matter what happens with the contract from then on, you have full, complete ownership at that point of the actual NFT resource, and you can do what you want with it. You can sell it, you can transfer it. And this kind of is exciting because it opens up the actual ability to interact with multiple contracts and have transferability across different marketplace contracts or what have you, without having to rely on kind of this multiple contract to contract to prove ownership. Whatever's in your account, it's in your account. It makes our API a lot easier as well. Given our API, we'll convert your account state to JSON. I highly recommend that you take a look at kind of the intro to Move and some of the tutorials we have, which we'll share in our Discord after. They're really great, and I think they'll really clarify kind of what makes us a little bit different. One of the questions that is the block STM limited to 32 threads, or is that able to increase? If so, how is the scale different mathematically? Cool. And my understanding is that there is no hard limit on maximum number of threads. I'm definitely not an expert on the performance impacts of scaling, but I believe that is at least somewhat covered in the paper. We can get you, Wraith, a more detailed answer in our Discord, but I believe that the scaling is slightly sublinear, that it does increase performance with nodes up until other resources become the contention. But I can definitely get you one of the authors of that paper to help answer that question. Let's see.
Do we have Typeform questions?
Yeah, let me check Typeform questions real quick. I think we had one in there. So one of the questions is, how does Move compare to Definity's Motoko? I don't think anyone in this room actually is familiar with Definity's Motoko, but I'll take a look at it. I'm curious now, but I've never worked with it. But yeah, we do want to, and are working on kind of a series of, what Move, Aptos and Move for Solidity devs, Aptos and Move for Solana devs, specifically to try to help map some of the concepts that you've already learned to how they might be a little bit different in Move and Aptos. So it's good to add Motoko to that list. Is it easy for devs to migrate from Ethereum with no friction? I would definitely not say that it's no friction. It's a different account model. It's kind of a different mental model. But Solidity, also to answer one of the other questions, Solidity is similar. Aptos Move is not quite like Solidity, but it is more like Rust in terms of the way that the compiler will try to catch common errors, even complicated errors, before you're actually able to deploy the contract. And so this prevents a lot of the ways that Solidity lets you shoot yourself in the foot. It's kind of impossible to do on Aptos Move. And so while it's not no friction, we have had a lot of developers coming from different blockchains who've been learning Aptos Move, and the response has been really, really great, honestly. So I highly recommend you jumping into our dev channel. There are a lot of people who can answer a lot of more specific questions who may have come from, Definity's Motoko, or any kind of specific questions about how the account model might be different from Solana and how that maps Aptos Move. And otherwise, there are plenty of resources for learning Move, and I highly recommend you take a look. It's probably easier than you think. Those are the only questions we have in Typeform. Let me check the
Discord?
Yes, that's the one. The Discord.
We do have a couple more questions in the Twitch as well.
Twitch, how's that? What are the latest NFT Move Standards? Thank you, Aptos. Great name. The latest are, so our NFT standards are evolving. I think if you're coming from Solana and you see the off-chain, and you're familiar with the off-chain Metaplex standards, our standards are similar to those. I think they are great, but those, of course, are also evolving. So the easiest way to take a look at our NFT standards is to look at the Move code. there's a lot there. And Bo also from Aptos is actively working on adding things like semi-fungible tokens and trying to map to the main/replica NFTs concepts that Solana kind of introduced, like a master record. But I will, of course, defer to him to answer those questions. He's not here, fortunately, but we can definitely point you to the specs after in our Discord. After the mainnet, do you intend to accelerate the development of NFTs on Aptos? I think reasonably after mainnet, we'll have to accelerate development on everything because we'll have mainnet. Lots of people will be interested in things. But I think that the easiest and best way to contribute to the NFT standards right now and make sure that they reflect what you're hoping they are is to jump in to our GitHub, file an issue. There are discussions ongoing in our forum.aptoslabs.com, and help guide the future of the network that you want to see. Seems to be it. I'll give you all another moment. If anyone has any other questions, please, can always ask in Twitch or in Discord in general or in our dev channel.
Should probably just make one channel.
Should we just cover today's rollout plan again?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to cover the roll plan. So by noon, we will disable KYC completion just to lock everything in so that we can begin our actual selection process. And that will go on for a couple of hours. Hopefully it'll be short, but you never know. But the goal is by 5 p.m. Pacific to notify everyone and to start sending out the emails for everyone. If you are selected, we are going to go through and based on the time zone that you registered with, your account with, we are going to start sending out emails for the second part. This is a two-part selection. So the first one tells you you're an IT2, everything is good. And the second part tells you how and when specifically to use our tooling to join Genesis. At this point, you'll also be in a specific Discord channel called IT2, where you can ask questions and chat with other participants in IT2. Super exciting. And then once, we'll be sending the second email over a period of 48 hours that tells you how specifically to join. And so from the time that you receive that email, you have until the end of the 48 hours basically to complete and set up your node and join our IT2 network. We'll make sure that everyone has 24 hours at least from when we send the email to when you have actually to finish the process before it starts counting against you. And then we'll have an official network running. Excited.
The network will be running actually before that. So network will be starting very soon. And everybody who received the email notification, you guys will set up your node and join the network dynamically. So that's exactly what we'll be, the features we'll be testing for this round is like, we will give you the stake, enough tokens for you to stake your validator. And then you will join once your validator got the stakes and then set up correctly and then join the networks. So yeah, very exciting to see how our network handles the validator side dynamically.
For sure. Yeah, the network is running. Yeah, it's a little different than IT1. It's cool. It's cool to see. This reflects, I think, what mainnet will look like much more.
Yeah.
We're not going to have hundreds of people to Genesis. We'll have a couple, and then everyone will get added after.
We have a question from Magnum 6.
We do. Oh, Magnum, you have good questions, and I only hope that I can provide sufficient answers. So I know that one of the things that people have been talking about and working on is a self-signer, basically, for contracts. So that
you should read the question.
Yes. And my hope is that self-signer is a pathway towards being able to have an approve-like function. Because if the contract can access its own signer, approve becomes a little easier. Move was made from the beginning to kind of require user consent always in order to interact with the contents of an account. So it's possible that what improved like functionality could look like is a contract deployed into your accounts. Right, like a module deployed to your account that gives the other contract permission to use the self-signer of that account to access specific resources. Hypothetically, I feel like that might be a slightly, less ergonomic but still functional way of doing it. But I think there are thoughts around Improve because it does open a large amount of functionality, basically, where you know that a contract, for example, I think gaming is a really good idea of a contract, can access all the items, and if I have played enough and it needs to upgrade them, things like that. It'd be great if the contract can just go ahead and do it without me necessarily manually doing all that myself. So it is something that we are thinking about, but hopefully, and please correct me if I'm wrong, hopefully the self-signer of a module will be able to get us at least part of the way there. Cool. Criteria and points we paid attention to. So in terms of criteria and points for the selection process and the voting, I think that James can definitely do a much better job of answering specifically all the criteria, but we went through and looked at these contributions, right? Like I think the one thing that we don't want is someone who joined and who made a post about their node, but they only joined Discord 2 days ago, and joined our channel 2 days ago, and they have, voted for themselves or had bought votes for themselves 100 times, right? We definitely don't want to encourage that. It's not meant to be a random popularity contest, but we did want to use voting to help signal basically who in our community, the community themselves understand and see a lot of the time and want to reward. And so, it's awesome to see that a lot of our mods are in that list who've been, brought up basically by the community and their appreciation. I think that's kind of what we hope to see. We are, selection process is being guided also by diversity of geographic hosting providers, of course. As much as we want to make sure that we reward everyone, if everyone is running the same data center, then we're not testing anything. Also by reputation, which is posting and kind of how useful their posts have been, how people responded to posts, are they answering questions, protocol, success alignment, and technical competency, right? Like we want to make sure that people have been able to set up the node is running correctly, kind of go through all of that node health checker, etc. So we really are looking for solid node runners who are contributing positively to our community. Can we, everyone who did KYC for IT1 but weren't selected, can they be selected first for IT2? I think some of them will be. I think that, of course, as we're looking for people who have contributed, they are definitely a lot of people who had even more time to contribute, right, between IT1 and IT2. And so I think you'll see some people, plenty of people, I will say the majority of people right now who have or are eligible for the selection process were already KYC'd for IT1. So I do think, just statistically, the majority of people will be coming from those who previously KYC'd for IT1. But there have also been plenty of other people who've joined since then, who've contributed. And so thankfully, the community-driven process helped us find qualified node operators that we definitely would have missed otherwise. And I want to be clear that even everyone who received 0 votes, votes are not a binding result in the forum. It's not like we're picking the top 50, especially because some of them, despite the last Move Monday, me telling you that we've gotten really, really, really good at detecting bots and cartels, some people decided to test our detection, and so they will be excluded even though they got a lot of votes because they cheated. So votes in the forum are not binding, but they are a really great signal to us of who we may have missed. And every single validator profile, even those who got 0 votes, were carefully reviewed manually by people here at Aptos, just to make sure that we didn't miss anyone. So thank you very, very much for filling those out. Thank you for filling out the little survey and selection questionnaire before IT2 registration. All of these really help us identify you as a person who cares about the network, who cares about the project, and who is actively contributing. Someone says, the node is very simple to monitor thanks to our Git's Prometheus template. So kudos to y'all for making it easy to monitor. Which Twitch flagged this comment as bullying because it uses Git in it, which is funny. How many people joined Discord community during IT2 voting? A bunch. We have those numbers. I don't want to publish those yet, but that is definitely something that we look at always, to see how many people are joining just for IT2 versus how many people have contributed. But I think, couples of thousands. I think if you look at kind of our number, our total number that we publish publicly before IT2 versus now, it's a couple of thousand, and of those, some amount have finished on registration. Cool. Let me check general real quick to see if there's any other questions.
Didn't see anything there.
No. Sweet. Well, as always, if there are any other questions, please feel free to reach out to James or to James. On Discord. Yeah, James is definitely the right person to tag on Discord, but we do try to help when we can. Big thanks to Greg, who's been all over the discussion, helping people. Huge thanks to our mods who've been working crazy hours with IT2, answering questions, helping triage problems, helping surface bugs and things to us.
Oh yeah, I'd like to call thanks to Zenny.eth for working with me yesterday to find bugs in the compiler for Move. That's great. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Daniel, for working again very long hours, even texting from an escape room or an escape room to help us kind of solve a problem node health checker. And I think the node health checker is a really big driver of quality nodes, being able to actually get feedback on why some nodes aren't to spec. And again, as always, I have to do my shtick of aptoslabs.com/careers. If you are someone who is interested in designing or UI, UX development, software engineering, blockchain as a whole, marketing, business development, we have positions open across a wide variety of career paths. Please send a link to your friends, your grandmother. You never know who might want to apply. And we are always looking for bright and qualified people to join our team here at Aptos Labs. You might be sitting in one of these chairs one day. Dream big. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Thank you for Move Monday.
Yeah. Looking forward to see the first batch get selected very soon, this afternoon.
Yes.
So check your email box.
Bye.
See you.